You know, there are some foods that are just icons. The Krabby Patty, it's the benchmark. A perfect synthesis of bun, patty, and its secret formula. It's the gold standard. But you know what they say about perfection? It inspires some questionable imitations. And sometimes, those imitations curdle into something truly monstrous. So today we're diving deep into the most infamous variations, the culinary crimes committed in the name of the Krabby Patty.
And really, that's kind of the whole theme for today's, let's call it a tasting menu. In the food world, everyone's always pushing the envelope. But as we're about to see, if you push that envelope a little too far, you don't get a genius breakthrough. You get a total breakdown.
Well, you get a collection of dishes that basically throw logic and, frankly, sanitation right out the window. So buckle up. We are about to take a journey to the dark side of the grill. So, let's kick things off with a dish that fails before it even gets to your mouth. I'm talking about creations so visually offensive, they just kill your appetite on sight. Okay, let's dive into this. First up, Exhibit A, the Pretty Patty. The whole concept was patties in 6 different designer colors. In the creator's defense, get this, and I quote, "It's not tainted meat, it's painted meat." You know, that's a sentence that doesn't really make anyone feel better. At all. And right here, you see the massive gap between the idea and the, well, ugly reality. The goal was to turn fast food into some kind of pop art. But what they got was a burger that just looked like it had gone bad. It's a classic case of missing the point. Food should look like food, not something you found in an art supply store.
All right, so from bad looks, we move on to bad ideas. This is where we get into the territory of culinary fusion becoming fusion confusion.
And here we have the burrito patty. In the official records, it's described as interesting. And you know, interesting is the word people use when they have absolutely nothing nice to say. This little experiment in cross-cultural cooking was apparently so successful that its creator was fired on the spot. I guess some culinary borders just aren't meant to be crossed. Okay, we've covered bad ideas. Now we're taking a sharp turn into dishes that aren't just unappealing, but are an active danger to your health. Welcome to the biohazard course. I mean, just look at the ingredients here. This was a custom order. A Krabby Patty with cheese, toenail clippings, and nose hairs. This isn't some accident in the kitchen. This was a deliberate act of culinary terrorism requested by an actual customer. And honestly, this quote from the cashier who took the order, it says everything. It is the only sane reaction one could possibly have. The truly alarming part is that they actually made it and served it. That's a level of the customer is always right that is just deeply, deeply concerning. And if you thought that was a one-off, check out the Nature Patties, a foraged food fantasy gone completely wrong. One poor soul said it tasted like the inside of a lawnmower. Another found their patty was mostly stones, which the chef charmingly tried to pass off as forest tomatoes. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, deep breaths, everyone, because if you thought it couldn't possibly get any worse, oh, you were so wrong. What we've seen so far, those were just the appetizers. We are now arriving at the main course of pure, unadulterated inedibility, the most infamous patty of them all. And this so-called recipe just lays out the sheer malice involved. The nasty patty starts with seahorse radish, apparently the gnarliest stuff in the ocean. Then, it's dropped in a toilet, fished out, and then for the finishing touch, it's dried with used gym socks. In the creator's own words, it is the most diabolical Krabby Patty ever spawned. Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, we made it through the inedible course. Somehow. But our journey isn't over. We're now moving beyond just disgusting ingredients and into the realm of things that make you question the very definition of food. These are the existential threats. I'm just gonna let that question hang there for a second. This isn't some deep philosophical prompt. It's a very practical question that came up because of our next exhibit, the caged patty. And there's your answer. The deadpan, completely serious justification for why a sandwich needs to be incarcerated. When your lunch is actively hostile and literally growling at you, I think it's safe to say we've wandered far, far off the culinary path. And for our final course, we're getting philosophical. Yeah. These last 2 items force us to question the very soul of the Krabby Patty itself. We're about to face a full-blown culinary identity crisis. So look at this. On the left, you've got the processed patty. It's machine-made, it's soulless, it's been called contrived and mediocre. Basically, garbage hidden by smoke and mirrors. But then on the right, you have a paradox, the rotten patty. Now, one person calls it obscene garbage, but its biggest defender insists no Krabby Patty can ever truly be rotten. So I ask you, which is worse, a soulless manufactured fake or a natural product that seems to defy the very laws of decay?
So, after all that, what have we learned? Well, we've witnessed the entire spectrum of culinary failure, from the misguided artistry of the pretty patties to the fusion failure of the burrito patty, all the way to the biohazardous ingredients of the nasty patty, and finishing with the existential horror of a patty that growls back. Each one is a unique stain on a legendary reputation.
And that's really the question we're left with, isn't it? After reviewing this entire menu of madness, you have to wonder about the minds that came up with this stuff. Are these bold, if totally failed attempts at innovation? Or are they something much, much more troubling? I'll let you be the judge.